what's the best way to attract what many folks call livable wage jobs to Thurston County?
Yeah. Business, don't mean to sound trite, business needs to know they're loved. Absolutely. And they have to know when they move into a community that they will be supported and they'll be allowed to grow. There's no reason to ask somebody to come into your community, invest in your community if you're not going to work with them to be successful. That's kind of the deal. It's that long-range strategy, and so we have invested our thought processes and our strategies into making sure that we have things in place, that there's that support network for them. We have great relationships with the Workforce Development Council. We have great relationships with Evergreen State College, South Puget Sound Community College, St. Martin's University. Those are all things that feed into it. But the strategy to attract those livable wage jobs really has to be with the idea that startup costs are kept relatively easy. There's a predictable process that people can access to, predictable being whatever jurisdiction they're dealing with, is that they know that they're going to come out at the end of a permit process in a timely fashion. Right. Those are things that we have to make sure that we're addressing.
Thurston County, and especially the greater Olympia area, has frequently been selected in magazines for senior citizens as as a very good place for seniors to live and relocate to. How has this trend of having senior citizens moving into our area with their disposable income and stable income helped Thurston County's economy?
Yeah, it's a great question, first of all. Congratulations for asking the question, because not a lot of people ask the question. That is one of the pieces of our economy that is very stable. When folks move to an area, they bring their investments with them. They transfer those funds with them. They transfer those intangible capital items with it. And they do patronize the local community. They patronize the retail market. They patronize the healthcare sector. And that's one thing that people kind of forget in Thurston County, that the largest private sector employer is healthcare.
That's right.
And so it is world-class healthcare that you can get here. And so people are very comfortable in moving here, and they're going to be cared for, long-term, short-term. But the other thing is, its cost of living here is considerably less than you would find counties to the north. Right. So if you want to locate in a community that you can access those environments on a social level or what other level you want to do, arts patronage, you can do that, but you can also live in an environment that's easy to get to it, but it's also cheap to live here, relatively cheap to live here.
That's right. The 2010 Thurston County Economic Vitality Index that's produced through the Economic Development Council was interesting. It showed that in spite of the ongoing recession, there was some stability in the local economy here in 2000. For example, it showed that the actual decline of housing starts and taxable sales and certain areas of unemployment was easing and even stabilizing a little, and that was good during 2010. It also showed at that time some reported increases in some housing activity in Olympia, some food and accommodation growth in Lacey, and some retail sales increases in Tumwater. Another positive trend for Thurston County was the fact that the housing values decline, which we are all quite aware of, has been smaller here than in Washington State average as a whole. What about the economic vitality index for 2011? Is that being prepared right now, and if so, when would that be available?
We actually do an update every quarter. Our current quarter is being, numbers are being compiled right now. We're going to release those numbers at the end of September. But we roll out the annual index in December at our forecast conference, and it's December 15th this year, and we roll that out at that time. Some of the trends that we can anticipate are holding steady on some of the confidence surveys that we do. We do 3 confidence surveys. We do a confidence survey of consumers, 875 individuals that we poll every quarter to ask them, how confident and how are you feeling about the local economy. And we have CEOs. The CEO's confidence survey has held steady throughout the year. Good. That speaks to employment opportunities. I'm curious to see those numbers come back next week, at the end of September. And then we do a small business confidence survey. The confidence survey of small business is a bit larger. The sample is a little bit larger. And that has held steady throughout the year as well. So we're starting to see kind of a backing away of an erosion of confidence. I do think that those numbers the next quarter will be a little bit tighter. There might be some falling on that metric, but overall, I think we'll fare fairly well. I'm not anticipating a real drop off of numbers. It's interesting. It's to see the National Confidence Board's numbers that we've modeled this after come out about the same time we do, and we have seen a falling off of confidence in the national economy. So that speaks to, is our local economy a little bit different? And yes, it is. You're right. We have seen some construction, housing construction on the multifamily, a little bit this year than we haven't seen in the past, in the last couple of years. Retail, we've had some good successes in retail. New retailers move in the area. So it's going to hold steady.
What I've read consistently is that our state was one of the last to get into this recession, and that our state will be one of the top 5, 6, or 7 that will get out of the recession earlier because of the vital, the businesses, the employment opportunities, and other positive characteristics that the state as a whole, and especially Western Washington and the Central Puget Sound and Thurston County have. And a lot of that really, since we're a society built on much of our economy is built on consumption, a lot of that is being confident that things will get better. And is there anything you can say about that for people on a personal level in terms of having confidence that, we're going to get through this and we're going to come out stronger?
Yeah, I'm extremely bullish on the United States. And I'm extremely bullish on Thurston County and the Puget Sound. We live in an environment that we have access to unique technologies. Things are produced in Washington State that aren't produced anywhere else. I have had the fantastic opportunity to travel a little bit with my job internationally. People look at Washington State a little bit differently than the United States. They look at Washington State almost as its own nationality. Obviously, the companies that are hallmarks of Washington State, everybody knows Boeing, everybody knows Starbucks, everybody knows Microsoft.
That's right.
Nintendo is here, Amazon.com. And so when you think about Washington State's economy, think about those technology-based industries. There's been a lot of discussion, well, manufacturing is moving offshore. Manufacturing is still here. It's different. And so I want the personal message of it is people take heart. People take heart that, there's choppy waters out there, but we have unique opportunities to put our minds to work, and we have unique opportunities to apply learned lessons uniquely. One of the things that the Forbes magazine didn't address, but another magazine did later, was the idea that Thurston County ranks very high on people that are paid to think, kind of the creative class. People that are paid to solve problems. Think about Lot. The utility here is cutting-edge technology. Things are being produced here that aren't produced anywhere else. The green, it might be a little bit overused, but the green economy has taken root in Washington State. When we go to China, I mention Washington State, and people always say, home of the green economy, because things are done here that are a little bit different. So people take heart. And we'll get through the choppy waters. And we'll come out the back end. The other thing that people need to realize is that the unemployment rate is also the unemployment is also the employment rate. We're talking about 8%, but we're also talking about 92% of the folks being employed. Can't lose sight of those numbers being real people. I truly believe that I, as a practitioner, I cannot lose sight of the idea that 8% are peoples and families who work hard to make sure they're well served.
That's right. And just briefly, you mentioned that the EDC of Thurston County led the 4th business-to-business delegation to China this year. Could you just briefly tell us how that venture went?
Yeah, it went very well. This is our 4th time in the last 7 years, so it's been fairly consistent. About every other year and a half we go. Tend to go in the spring. We usually stop in 3 cities. Beijing, we start, and we do a second-tier city, and then we end up in Shanghai or Hong Kong. We have a couple intentions, very focused intentions when we go. One is to reacquaint ourselves with old friends. We're in this for the long haul. This is a strategy that my board has asked me to not take lightly, but to be consistent, follow up, communicate, reestablish those relationships. So it's that long-term relationship. That's one thing. The second thing is we want to look for tourism opportunities. George Sharp, VCB, the Residents Convention Bureau's executive director, was with us. Want to put him in front of tour operators, at corporate tour operators that are seeking those international travel markets. China is an expanding middle class. They're traveling. There's also opportunity for individual travel. We know they're coming to Seattle. Let's peel a percentage of that off and come to Thurston County.
Why not?
So that's another thing. The other intention is to look for foreign direct investment here. We have a great relationship with St. Martin's University and Shanghai Maritime University. Very solid, long-term. People want to participate with us, not only foreign direct investment, but also, and the last thing is trade opportunities. There's companies that mentioned that 135% increase in international trade in the last 5 years in Thurston County. There are people that are doing business internationally. Can't ignore the Chinese market. So we need to make sure that people have an understanding locally of what those opportunities are.
Great. What are one or two things, very briefly, that you enjoy most about living and working here in Thurston County? We asked our guests this.
Yeah. First of all, I'm blessed to live here. My wife and 3 children, we've come to think of Olympia and Thurston County as our home. Certainly we've been here 8 years, and it's been peopled by wonderful individuals. Great relationships, great friendships. People care about the community here, and sometimes it's it's just interesting to see how many people are involved in so many different levels. That is, you don't find that everywhere, and it's just fantastic. One of the things I like about working here is I get to see different opportunities every day. Every single day I see unique ideas and different opportunities, and I'm always challenged. And so I appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for coming to our show today. Economic development is very important to our county, and the Economic Development Council of Thurston County has done and is continuing to do a lot of really good work to help encourage economic development for our county, and we really appreciate the work that they and other organizations do. We hope you've enjoyed our show today around Thurston County. There's so much that's going on here in the county and so much about our county that makes it interesting. Please plan to look for our future shows on Comcast TCTV Channel 22 weekly, Monday evenings at 6:30 p.m. and Friday evenings at 5 p.m. and tell your friends about us. You can also check out our Facebook page around Thurston County. And if you will, please hit the Like Us button on that. I'm Patrick Babineau for Around Thurston County. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.